Dog will hunt. Today on Outside the Box Reviews, our Halloween in April continues, and we're taking a look today at the Mezco Cinema of Fear Wave 1 Chop Top figure from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. And if you didn't catch my unboxing video on this guy, this figure has been kind of a holy grail piece for me for quite a while. Texas Chainsaw 2 is one of my favorite Texas Chainsaw movies. I like it better than the original. I think it might be my absolute favorite of the whole series, and I love Bill Moseley's performance as Chop Top. Unfortunately, I have vague concerns with this figure. I can't find anything online stating whether or not this may be a bootleg, but I found it on eBay for a price that wasn't ridiculous like every other version of this figure I found on eBay was, and the guy had several of them all with damaged packages, which made me mildly concerned that he had a figure this old in a fairly large quantity. But I can't find anything on him or anything online that proves to me without a doubt that he is bootleg, so I'm just gonna go ahead and review him as though he's the real thing. But being a Wave 1 Mezco figure, Chop Top comes loaded with accessories. So let's take a look at everything he came with. Now, Chop Top comes with a total of 4 hands. He has 2 left hands and 2 right hands, and his 2 right hands are pretty similar. One's a more open grip and one's a more closed grip. You can see on each just some nice texturing to it. He has his dirty brown nails and kind of his grayish pale flesh tone. Pretty decently done. And then for his left hands, he has one open gripping hand and one hand with the lighter inside. The lighter is not removable as far as I can tell, and it is a little annoying to me that he doesn't have a more firm grip on it. It doesn't look like he's actually holding it at all. It would have been nice if he actually looked like he was holding the thing, but it also would have completely covered the lighter in his hand. But it's a really well detailed lighter, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. There's some great work done in there. Both decent hands here. He comes with his iconic bent coat hanger. This is the piece that he uses to pick at the hole in his head. So it's a nice silvery metallic looking piece, but it is plastic. I imagine this would be very brittle, so be very careful with it. You can see the very end of it's red, supposed to be red hot from heating it up with that lighter. It's a pretty nicely sculpted little piece. And that is the entire reason he has the one closed right hand. Coat hanger will fit right in there and you could pose him with it. Chop Top also comes with a little straight razor. You can see here, very tiny, but it actually hinges, so you can flip it out. And now we have the blade with a little bit of blood effect on there. It's Mezco, so you would expect it's a very bright red, not very realistic looking, but still pretty nice. And in the more open hand, it takes a little work, but you can get it in his hand, and he can be threatening people with the straight razor. Next up, he comes with his little stereo, his boom box. You can see the cassette in there, if you know what a cassette actually is. And the radio tuner up here, the speaker. It's not a great radio. It's definitely kind of warped and bent looking, and the details lacking on every other side of it, but it works. It's not something I think the character needs horribly with him. I think it's just a minor kind of detail piece, but I like that he has it. And we get 2 characters in one here. We have another character that Mezco would later go on and make in Wave 3 of Cinema of Fear, the Hitchhiker, or as he's known in this movie, Nubbins. This is the Hitchhiker from the original Texas Chainsaw. He gets run over and, as is the family's tradition, turned into a corpse to take around with them. So he's got his army jacket on, his green shirt underneath, his khaki pants, and his boots. See his kind of zombified, dried out skin on his hands, and his face is really gnarly looking, all cut up and messed up. This character was supposed to be the twin brother of Chop Top. Chop Top was in Vietnam at the time of the original movie, or recovering from Vietnam, or something like that. This whole thing is a softer, bendy, rubbery material, with the exception of the head. The head is more traditionally hard sculpted, and the neck just kind of plugs in there. Around the back, we can see it's really dented in, and that is for the gimmick of this figure. Now, this is really hard to get together, so don't judge me if it's not perfect, but you could take Nubbins and have Chop Top hold him up in front of him and kind of puppeteer him. In the movie, he would do that and make it look like some zombie was attacking people. It's what you see in the very opening scene of the film, and I really like it. It's a nice little touch. I'm not gonna have my Chop Top displayed this way. If this figure was new and readily available on the shelves, I would probably consider buying 2 of these and having one displayed like this and one displayed with the alternate head that I'll get into in a minute, but most likely I'm just going to have Nubbins sitting off to the side of Chop Top on the ground or something. And here we have the first head sculpt, and I really like it. He's got his Sonny Bono wig going on there, his nasty gnarly teeth, his purple shades, which are actually a nice translucent plastic. You can see his actual eyes there behind them. They're not removable, but not a big deal. I wouldn't expect them to be. And I've talked about this plenty before. It's the standard Mezco stylized look here. Not exactly movie accurate, but enough to portray the character. And I really like the look they gave this one. He's not bad at all. Now we can pop that head off and then pop on his head without the wig and the glasses, and it's pretty much the same facial expression, a little more pissed off. His eyes are looking off to the side, which is something I never really like on figures. He has all of his strands of hair, they're just painted on, which is a little bit of a bummer as well. But then he has some nice detail on the plate in his head, and some nice aggravated looking skin around it, because of course he's using that coat hanger to pick at it the whole freaking movie. He's got some dents in there. That's very nice. There's a nice metallic paint on there as well. I do wish this hair wasn't painted on. I wish there was actually somehow sculpted on there, but minor nitpick, I guess. Overall, it's a decent face. Coming down, he has his rubberized vest, with all the little buttons all over it, and the buttons are well detailed. You can actually make out what some of them have, like the smiley face, the peace signs, things like that. So that's pretty nice. There's his necklace going around here. Then his undershirt is definitely lacking. His undershirt was a little more tie-dye in the movie. This is just kind of shades of purple going on. It's not bad. It's not overly distracting, but I wish it was a little more detailed. The vest has some great paint apps on it. I like how they mix the brown and the black on here. It gives it a nice cartoony, cool texture to it. And of course we have his jeans going down here. Some patches all over the front of them. Then his really dirty kind of Converse looking shoes down there. Those are really nicely detailed. I like them a lot. For articulation, he has a ball joint at the neck, so you can go up and down, side to side, pivot. Pretty good range of motion there. Shoulders will go out to the side on a pin and socket joint, up pretty far, down decently, but not all the way down to his sides. Also a problem with Mezco. It's swivel all the way around. There's a hinge at the elbow that bends very far in, but there's no rotation anywhere, so it's always going to come in at that awkward angle. The wrists can rotate as well as hinge. He has a waist joint, cut joint, so you just swivel side to side. It does break up the sculpt a lot, no matter how much you turn it. And being wave 1, he does have leg joints, so he has a V cut at the crotch and a hinge, but unfortunately because the feet don't move, you can't really do a lot with that leg articulation. You really have never been able to on any of these Mezco figures. And here we have Chop Top next to his little brother Leatherface, or Bubba as he calls him. And I don't have the Series 1 Leatherface. I really want to find him, but he's also one that goes for big bucks online. The Series 1 Leatherface is the actual Texas Chainsaw 2 Leatherface. This is the part 1 that I have here from Series 2, I believe. But they're decently in scale with one another. He's a little shorter than Leatherface, which is about how he should be, and definitely a lot skinnier. And I really enjoy this set. I have a soft spot for Mezco. They were my favorite horror movie figure company for quite a long time. When I first started getting into collecting, or at least this modern version of my collecting, they were right in between Series 1 and Series 2 of their Cinema of Fear line. I was able to get most of their stuff as it came out, and I've always just loved the style they do their stuff with, and really loved the amount of accessories that come with things. I think it makes the figures to have so much extra stuff with them. You can make so many different scenes and have diorama pieces and all that stuff, and I love that about Mezco. And granted, their recent stuff has sucked and their detail has never been anywhere near what NECA can do, but these old Cinema of Fear figures definitely have a place in my heart, and I'm gonna give Chop Top a recommend. If you're a fan of Texas Chainsaw 2, I highly recommend getting this figure. He's very cool. Make sure you check me out on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been another Outside the Box Reviews, and now it's time for you to EXIT, exit.